Hey, how's it going? This is Danny from Made of Metal, and welcome to episode 5 of Desert Island Riffs. This time with another deadlifting legend in Lewis Blackwood. If you don't know Lewis, he's an amazing strongman. He has qualified for Britain's Strongest Man 3 years on the trot. He's been to OSG. He has qualified for the Pro Strongman League Under 80s, which is happening in September. He is the man that broke the deadlift world record when he wasn't supposed to. Yeah, we talk about that a little bit. Basically, at the Arnold Sports Festival 2022 in the UK, Lewis was taking part in the amateur log and deadlift competition that was taking place over the course of the weekend. I think he only ended up doing the deadlift portion, but out of nowhere, I don't know if it was on his agenda particularly, the man pulled a world record weight. I certainly wasn't expecting it as someone that was spectating in the crowd. He did it, the place erupted. It was a brilliant moment. So it was great to have him on the podcast, great to catch up with him. It was a really nice chat. We talk about Strongman, we talk about the songs that he chose, which evoked some feelings in me. I recount a very embarrassing story from my primary school days, because that's what you do on podcasts, right? And this podcast is kind of evolving. So it started off, you're taking 5 songs to a desert island gym and that's it. Then I added the element of choosing a Giants Live walkout song, because we've all imagined it. If anyone that's watched Strongman or Strongwoman, we've imagined what song we might walk out through those curtains to. But this is going to be the first in another little wrinkle that I've decided to introduce, in that I sent Lewis a song that is from my workout playlist, and this is a song that's genuinely on my workout playlist, and they will be going forward, just to see what Lewis thinks. You know, I asked for honest feedback because I am of an age where I'm completely comfortable with the music that I choose to listen to. I know it's very much not for everybody, but you know, I like it, so I'm just genuinely interested to hear the opinions of other people, perhaps maybe introduce some new songs to them, because I am being introduced to new stuff all the time. So yeah, great chat with Lewis. Hopefully it's an enjoyable listen. Thank you to everyone that has been listening to this podcast. I know we are in a world that is awash with podcasts, and the fact that you've chosen to listen to this means a great deal. So please feel free to send me messages on social media or leave comments on the YouTube videos. Share it about. Let me know if you've listened to the Spotify playlist and discovered anything new, or kind of rediscovered something that maybe you forgot about. Yeah, so sit back, relax, and enjoy this 5th episode of Desert Island Riffs with Lewis Blackwood. I will be back at the end of the podcast with another little music recommendation from myself. Enjoy. Alright, so I am here with Lewis Blackwood. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, buddy. How you get on?
I'm hot and I'm tired. I literally just finished training about an hour ago, and it was reverse banded deadlifts. And because I'm practicing for the OSG qualifier, the 2 rep max, I had to do it in the suit on the deadlift bar. So it was like 8 sets of 3 in this heat. I just, and every exercise after that, I was just like, oh, kill me now.
Do you know what? I've never actually tried any reverse banded stuff, especially any reverse banded deadlifts.
Yeah.
Well, what's that like?
Well, my problem is above the knee. I can, especially in a suit, I can usually get the weight to my knee, but more often than not, I've got to hitch it. So I think what the reverse band does is it gives that extra bit of velocity off the floor.
Yeah.
So by the time it gets above your knee, you're basically locking it out already. So the weight I was working with today, it was moving well. There was no hitching. So it's just trying to get myself out of the habit of hitching like every heavy rep, because I think
when you wear a suit, because this is the reason why I don't actually wear a suit, is with around your crotch area,
Yes, sir.
right? Do you get like a? It's really difficult to explain because it's not exactly around like if I'm going to be like scientific, it's not exactly does anything to like your junk, but it's like it almost feels like deep within your groin.
Yeah, so
I get this really sharp pain, and I tell you what, for the life of me, I cannot take my mind off this pain that I get from it. And honest to God, if you want to know the real reason why I don't wear a deadlift suit or why I exercise with it and then I just fuck it off, it's because that's the reason why I can't handle it. Honestly,
I think the mistake that I made when I first got a suit, well, number one, I got a suit because I magically thought it was going to give me an extra 20 kilograms on my deadlift, which just isn't the
we
case.
all do, don't we?
But I think also I would just pull it on so tight, pull it so far up my leg
Yeah.
that like whenever I took it off, there were bruises around my upper legs, and yeah, the inside of my groin was really, really tight, and I could feel like maybe like adductor muscles almost like snapping, or not snapping, but like that feeling as if they might go.
Yeah.
And then it sort of twigged that the whole mechanics behind the suit is to be nice and tight around your hips and your glutes. And so while it was really tight around my legs, it was really baggy around my ass.
Right.
So it was doing nothing. So I kind of I'll now put it on just until I start to feel a bit of resistance, and then pull it up a little bit more, and sort of leave it at that. And that seems to be working better. And it's like I say, I managed to get through 8 sets.
It's quite difficult, isn't it, to know what's. I suppose that's probably why you need so much time in it, don't you? But to know what is a perfect fit as opposed to what's too loose and what's too tight.
Yeah, so I think my suit is probably a bit too big because I've got me undershorts, so I wear leggings to deadlift in, and I've got like the Strength Shop neoprene shorts just to pad everything out. So
Okay.
it was quite, the suits are quite pricey and came from Finland. It
Yeah.
took a while to get here. That like I didn't really want to.
Oh, yours. Oh, metal. That's the brand, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm sure I can get it customized somewhere or something like that, but until such time that I'm actually deadlifting numbers where it's kind of worth doing that, I'll just sort of plug away as is.
Yeah. No, completely. Yeah. No, absolutely.
But yeah, man. So back on to you. We are recording this on the Monday before Britain's Strongest Man, and some devastating news that you're not going to be in the lineup this year. Do you care to elaborate?
Yeah. Yeah. As we were discussing before, the upset part is done. If you want to know, basically, I'd say the last 4 to 6 weeks, I've been coming down with like, an illness quite a bit. The second, this is like you might be able to hear it in my voice now. I'm still quite bunged up. The last couple of weeks, I'd probably only trained maybe 2-3 times at the most. 2 of them sessions were deadlift sessions, and yeah, I've got a niggle in my right knee, which is giving me jip when I'm driving, when I'm at any moving events. You know, my notes, I'm not doing any moving events, so I just thought, do you know what? When I wasn't, it's just the same way as I wasn't overly prepared for England's. The reason why I ended up doing English is because, again, I was only seeking qualification, and I was allowed up to 8th position to make that happen. Whereas Brits, you need to be your best. And I've got a pro show in September, and I just think, do you know what? For what it's worth, I've still got something to look forward to. So, do you know what? Take the hit. Never pulled out of a competition before. It's my 3rd Brits in a row made. So, well, not that I'm making it now, but yeah, it just guess it is what it is, isn't it? I've never pulled out of a show. I've never really felt injured to the point where I could pull out of a show. So yeah, it was tough. It was tough, but yeah, after a week, I got over it. I officially let Luke know on Saturday because I really wanted to go. I was thinking, no, I'm going to just see how I get on. I'm really going to push for this, but I just it is what it is now.
Yeah, because I'd seen the events listed, but it wasn't until I released my little preview video and actually paid attention to the order of the events and the weights of the events that, especially if you got niggles in your lower body, that competition is just going to be absolute murder.
I would say, yeah. So even from event 1, so the log press. So I've had this problem. I've had a bit of a problem in my knee for about 5-6 weeks now. And do you know what? My log training, I was really enjoying the log training. I believed I was going to be maybe one of a handful of athletes that would have jumped from 137 over to the 147, which is the, is that right? 147, which is the world record
I
attempt.
think that will be a record, yeah.
Yeah, and so I was really confident out. Training's going really well, and then suddenly every time I'm even just getting some leg drive under the log, again, every time I feel in the sharp pain, it's like my mind's going to it and I'm thinking about it, and I'm just not giving it what I like to say, what I like to recall is enough oomph behind it, you know.
Yeah.
So the only events really that were doing okay, I was doing okay with was of course the deadlift, which I had no issues with, and the duck walk.
Really?
Because it wasn't so far to travel. Everything else I was kind of paying the price for. But yeah, like there, yeah, Luke was savage this year with the events. Really, really good list of events. I've never done a duck walk. I don't know about yourself. You've done a no, there's not the duck walk. Sorry, the stairs.
Yeah,
Have you done that?
I did them once, and it didn't go very well.
Yeah, it's because you always got to be You got to be so many things going on. You got to run, pick up, and then make sure. I wonder if some lads will almost try to be too quick on that event and almost like have a plate like catch like the corner of the stairs. I don't know, that it's your precision on that event's got to be real sharp, you know.
Yeah, that's what happened to me.
So, that would be a really interesting event to see the lads do.
Yeah, I carried the duck walk. I think the mistake I made was everybody had their handles fairly high, whereas I'd been practicing with the handles quite low.
Yeah.
And I didn't adjust the handle when it came to my run. So by the time I got to the step, which was pretty slow anyway, I missed the first step and sort of dropped the duck walk on my foot and got a little bruise, like nothing too bad.
Oh.
I did manage to finish it, but yeah.
Oh, did good.
Yeah. But it was just the one handle at the competition I did. It wasn't 3 handles up 3 steps, but yeah, you've got this pro show coming up in September. So I mean, the sensible thing to do if you're feeling a bit rough, rather than exacerbate it by doing Brits, is to focus your energy onto that. Because I think I've seen some of the events for that as well, and that's not going to be an easy one either, is it?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of the events are, I mean, bloody hell, they've put in, they've done it in pounds, haven't they? But I think it's like a 272 kilo, so 600 pound frame carry. I haven't done a frame, done a lot of farmers. I haven't done a frame carry in a while. I think there's a stone head to head. There's a deadlift. How have they done this setup? I think it's like like the setup they do in World's Strongest Man, where like the barrels go in one at a time.
Oh, cool.
I think that's what the setup they've got. That's quite an interesting setup. I quite like that. There's an axle medley, and again, it seems to be a favourite this year. It's a yoke into sandbag carry, which I need to really get my arse in gear with. I'll tell you.
They love a sandbag. Yeah, I think it's quite a heavy yoke as well. Is it?
It's 700 pounds, which was, what was that? That was the same weight as Brits last year. 300. What's that? 317.5 kilos. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. So they're not messing about.
No. So yeah, you'll be focusing your energy on that, which is, yeah, like I say, the smart thing to do. So in terms of training, are you like a lone wolf, or do you like training with other people?
Yeah. God, this is a conversation I was having the other day. 99% of the time I'm a lone wolf, and that isn't because I prefer it that way. It's because it's just how it is. There are a couple. So I train in Genesis Gym in Wembley, so northwest London, and we do have a couple of guys that are into strongman. However, we all kind of go at different times.
Yeah.
People I know down south, like Tommy Chivers, Daniel Watts. Okay, yeah, we're down south, but we're still quite a bit of drive away, you know. If I had it my way, I would have even a few guys to train with. You know, it's sometimes you really need you think you train well and hard by yourself, but it can really make a difference when you've got someone there. The other day, a guy called Tosin, he trains at Genesis. He was an under 90 strongman. I'm not too sure he competes anymore. But basically, I wanted to go for a 320 triple on the deadlift, and I only got a double. Uh, wasn't given enough already on the third rep. And he said, well, you've missed a triple, so why don't you go for another double in a 320? Now, I was very ready to walk away from that.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show, and then I hadn't even thought, okay, look at the accumulation of volume. Instead of doing one set of 3, I've now done 2 sets of 2, which is 4. But my point is, you see the impact of what someone being there can do to you.
Yeah, 100%.
And after I left that session, I could have left that session quite disappointed. After I left thinking, holy shit, I just done 2 sets of 2 with 320.
Yeah.
What about yourself? What do you train by yourself, or?
I usually train by myself. Yeah, I've got like my.
And how do you find that?
My home gym set up. I like getting my head down, ticking all the boxes, like working my way through the workout. There are possibly times, like genuinely, I did front squats today, and me and front squats, we're not friends. And I was doing 3 sets of 3, and on the third set, I went down for a rep and just didn't come back up. I just like dropped the bar on the safeties, and there was a small part of me that was like, screw it. I've done 2 sets, but no, I sucked it up, took a little bit of weight off, and did the third set. So I think I'm self-disciplined enough. When I do train with other people, I'm still like focusing on my stuff because they'll be doing their own stuff, but just kind of chatting in between or whatever. But yeah, I'm not averse to it, but I know exactly what you're saying, because it's kind of similar to we're both PTs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when you've got a client and you put a weight on a bar and they give you a funny look.
Oh, I love that look.
But yeah, in terms of your career as a strongman, you've done a lot of high-level competitions. As you say, you qualified for Brits 3 years on the trot. You qualified for Pro Strongman League. You went to OSG last year?
I did go to Worlds last year, and that was a fucking hell of an experience. I'm really glad I did that. Really, really glad I did that.
But what about your first competition? What do you remember of that?
My first ever strongman competition.
First ever strongman comp.
First ever strongman competition was at PTS Northampton gym. It was the England's Strongest Novice. It was run alongside England's Strongest Man. I don't believe any blokes that were part of the England's Strongest Man lineup are doing strongman anymore, other than possibly Stephen Wilkinson. I remember I went against him a couple of years ago at South England's Strongest Man. And that was So it's how I got into it. People ask me, how did you get into strongman? So I started off doing powerlifting. Came out of the junior days. Turned 24. It got to about, how long did I have? I was in Genesis Gym, and there's a bloke called Sean Frederick Parker, quite a large athlete, and I was talking to him. He was quite shit up with like his sports stuff, with science, and so I'd always like pick his brain. God, he must have been like fucking like well irritated with me. But one day, so he was saying, I was saying, oh, do you know what, I really fancy getting into like strongman. I watch it on TV, and I shit you not, his words was to me were, he turned around to me and said, why don't you just fucking do it then?
Yeah.
So I went home. I was thinking about his words all the way home. I've gone home, got onto Facebook, because I think that's maybe where I'd seen a couple of things. And yeah, I found England's Strongest Novice. It was I think it was July 2017. And I think I had about 11 or 12 weeks prep for it. Never touched the stone, never touched the log, never touched the yoke. And I got so stuck in, and it went really well. I'd also changed from a sumo stance to a conventional stance as well.
All right.
And that was it. And I got flooded out. I had like 170 bar for the deadlift. I got like 17 reps. I actually thought it was event win, and you watch the video back. I've actually got the video on my phone, thinking I was going to win it. And then a guy called Ed Gamster. Ed Gamster was also at this novice competition with me. He's also beaten me at South England. He also was at a BNSF Brits with me, Dean, and Tommy. I've competed against Ed 4 times, and I've never beaten him. And he's a lovely guy. But he came and he won that competition. I came second overall.
Wow, with no prep.
But yeah, it was literally, dude, like just like probably like your first strongman comp. You know, you leave that competition, you think, oh my god, like I am hooked on this. I don't know what it is, but you walk away and you're just like ready to attack your next competition. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was sort of similar. Like PTS is actually one of the local gyms to me.
Okay.
So I'm in Northampton, so that was where I did my first competition,
Ah, okay, right.
and it was East Midlands Strongest Novice or something like that. I forget, like 2019,
Yeah.
and I'd never touched a yoke. There was an axle overhead, I think, a trap bar deadlift. That was the deadlift event.
Okay.
What else was there? Stone to shoulder, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, the yoke. I've got the video of the yoke, and it was a 180 kilogram yoke for, I don't know, 20 meters, and it took me nearly 50 seconds. Like, whereas now that's fully a warm up weight.
Wow.
Yeah, like Bambi on ice.
I mean, you go in and you know what's funny as well is I was looking back at my log technique. Yeah, so it was deadlift and it was log was the second event, and I look at that log and I think, oh my god, like I clean it so much different now.
Yeah.
You know, like you see, what, just a few weeks preparation as opposed to a few years.
Do you remember how heavy it was?
I think I might be wrong, but I don't think it was any. Why does the 70 kilos come to mind? I can't. I don't think it was any more than that. I'm sure it was 70 kilos. I think I may have only got about 6 or 7 reps on it. I wasn't a very good overhead presser back then.
Yeah, the guy that runs PTS, I don't think he does competitions anymore, which is a shame because they were really accessible competitions. They were always on the lighter side of things, but like you say, it got me hooked, it got you hooked, and countless others. Harry Rogers, he qualified for the Chaos Classic through the online qualifier.
Okay.
I don't know whether it was his first competition or one of his first competitions was at this PTS. Again, like England, East Midlands Strongest Novice or Strongest, I forget. And yeah, he's come on leaps and bounds over the past couple of years. So it was a real nice little breeding ground for. So I think a lot of the top guys have at least done one competition there. So let's talk a little bit about music, because you sent me some songs. Because we're gonna send you off to a desert island gym. Do you like the idea of a desert island gym?
I mean, I train alone, so what better place to be than on my own on a desert island? Sand in my toes, breeze through my hair. Sounds great, mate. Sounds great.
What kind of music do you generally listen to? Like, not necessarily when you're training, just like, or do you listen to music often, like in your leisure time?
I've got a bit of a mix. I quite like a few different genres. I could have one tune. During a playlist, I could have a rock tune playing, and then I could have some R&B next. Then I could have some, I don't know, some electric. It almost can depend on my environment, and I'll get to and that's very relatable to the song that you sent me as well. I found it works really well within a particular environment, and I loved it.
Ah, yeah. So we'll get onto the songs that you chose, and then eventually the song that I sent you to listen to. But like, have you got any favorite artists or albums, or do you just kind of listen to whatever takes your fancy or whatever at whatever sort of time?
Yeah, I got. I mean, if I was gonna say favorite artists, if I say the first one that comes to mind is probably Chris Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I love Michael Jackson. I love Tory Lanez. Yeah, just off the top of my head, that's what I can think. But yeah, I've got a very. There's quite a huge section of genres I'm quite into.
Yeah, and that is absolutely reflected in the 5 songs that you sent me. There is, yeah, I've got some feelings on these songs. So let's get right into it. Do you remember what was top of the list of your songs?
What was top of the list?
Top of the list was what I thought was you complimenting me because you didn't put Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Hail to the King by Avenged Sevenfold, which you said is your deadlift song.
This is This is the tune, and I will repeat this tune in my ear. It sounds crazy, but when it's deadlift day, when it's a heavy deadlift day, I will repeat this song over and over and over and over again in my head. Um, this came from when I was looking to pull my first 300 kilo deadlift, and then after that, it just became my tune. And when I was at the Arnold's and I broke the world record deadlift, bear in mind between my first and second pull, it was about 82 minutes. It was timed. Again, I just
Yeah, it was a long day.
it was a lot, man. That's the length of a movie, man. That's a long time to stay switched on, and a lot of people don't know that. You know, that was a long time, and I might be getting sidetracked here, but yeah, I just had that song in my ear over and over and over and over and over again, and yeah, you can see what it does, because that's a long time. It's very easy for me to have been able to switch off for that, or almost doubt from the time having to wait, like it couldn't have been done. So that is my deadlift tune through and through. I absolutely love it.
So how did you find this song? Where did you pick this song up from?
God, like I don't know. They just come up. No, I think I heard this tune from going back to Ed Gab. I don't know if I've heard him play some music, but I know I've heard it, and I'm sure it was Ed that I've heard it from, or it was in the background of something, but I'm sure that's because I'm sure he's familiar with the band.
Yeah.
That's what's coming to me. It must have been that.
Because the more I do this podcast, the more we're going to learn that 25-year-old me was a gatekeeping elitist asshole, and Avenged Sevenfold to me at that age were a Ponzi band with guitars and haircuts. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of them, but they're all quite pretty. They're all a bit gothy, and I wrote them off for like 15 years or so. And this one song, as soon as it started, I was like, I definitely need to check out Avenged Sevenfold again. I got it straight away.
Do you know what it is? There's just something about a fucking really good guitar solo. Like, I just love to hear a guitar. I love to hear someone in the guitar just go absolutely fucking mad on it. It just does something to me, man.
So what I thought was interesting about this one is you said it was your deadlift song, and my mind immediately went to like a 1 rep max, and my 1 rep max deadlift song has got kind of a little build up and then a drop, and that's when I do the deadlift. Whereas this is just like, it's pretty solid the whole way through. So is there like a particular point you wait for?
Yeah. I don't. After the little.
Yeah.
And then it goes, and it's quite. It's quite very aggressive and quite solid throughout. But it's the chorus, when that if I can hold out, and then with the bar, and then let the chorus hit, like. Mate, there is not a thing. I'm telling you, there's not a thing off that floor I couldn't pick up.
Well, it's because they're.
I swear, I'm not even joking. It's
They're saying "Hail to the King" about you at that moment, aren't they? That's probably what's going through your head.
I mean, that's what I mean. You know what? You got to believe your own bullshit, man. And in that moment, like I'm the man. You know, you got to tell yourself that. So yeah, that's that's a good tune.
Yeah, man. I mean, thank you for choosing it, because, like I say, I am now going to go back through Avenged Sevenfold. I've got one CD of theirs from like God knows when. I listened to it once and never again. But I'm gonna go back and check them out now. But yeah, your second one, you mentioned Metric Night Drive. Now, this isn't usually the sort of thing that I'd listen to. Again, like where did you pick this up?
Again, so obviously we're going back to thinking like on the desert island gym, and I just for years, like during like powerlifting days, I used to listen to this song, and I don't know where I found this. I found this on YouTube. God, like we're going back like maybe 7-8 years ago. I've had this song in my playlist for years, and I don't know what it is about this tune, but it just really connects me. It just really gets me in the moment.
Mm.
And again, this is another song. Bear in mind that any gym-related training session, I could just play it over and over and over again. It just something about that tune just keeps me in the zone.
Yeah.
I can't explain it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely the sort of vibe I got from it. Kind of starts off pretty chilled, and then almost goes like proper 80s new wave, like some of those older 80s songs, and then it like kicks in quite hard.
Yeah. Oh right. Yeah. Yeah.
Is this song from anything, or like literally you just found it on YouTube? And
I could not tell you. I could not tell you, mate. I don't know what if it's from a film or what. But I remember finding this some way somehow on YouTube. Was it a dubstep? God, I think that years ago I was into like dubstep.
everybody was.
And so I must have put in like a dubstep mix or drum step mix or something like that. I must have written something like that, and this popped on. For, oh yeah, this tune's amazing.
So is this any particular sort of training that you'd soundtrack this to, or is it just general?
Yeah, nah. This one's more so just quite well rounded.
Yeah.
I'd say a few of them are quite well rounded.
And so, speaking of well-rounded, you mentioned him earlier. Your next one is The Way You Make Me Feel, Michael Jackson. Classic.
Oh, man. So obviously when you were going off when you were asked me for the songs, at the time, what I didn't have in mind was, right, I'm on a desert island in a gym. Okay, or I just thought, right, I'm on a desert island. Luckily, there is a gym, which is better. But I thought, what kind of song can pick me up at a time where it's just like, oh, I gotta go do this, I gotta go do that. Like, this is a song I could put in my ear. Like for example, if I ever got to go do the dishes, got to go do some washing up. You know, I just think, who when I turn Alexa on and I say, Alexa, play who and Michael Jackson will always be the first person that comes to mind. You know, it's just a really uplifting tune, and I feel like I could have that blast in my ear on a deserted island by myself, and I could have a great time.
Yeah, I used to be obsessed with this album when I was growing up. I remember vividly my mum would take me around her friend's house, and they would be chatting about normal, boring, grown-up stuff, and to keep me entertained, they'd put on this album, and I'd just be dancing around the living room while they're gossiping away. So, yeah, love this song, love this album.
Man, never gets old, man. His music will never die. At least I hope not, anyway.
There's a story that I should probably never, ever, ever recount, but I'm going to. At primary school, I was getting bullied a little bit. Like it wasn't anything too bad. There was just a kid that was he was bigger than most of the other kids, and he was kind of pushing us around. And you know the video to Bad, where it's like Michael Jackson and Wesley Snipes, and they're in rival gangs.
Oh yeah.
And they're like,
yeah.
Kind of Michael Jackson beats Wesley Snipes' gang with like dance moves.
Yeah.
So I'm gathering kids up in the playground. I'm like, right, what we're going to do is we're going to run up to this kid and we're going to sing Bad.
We're going to moonwalk his ass. Oh.
Yeah, and that is going to sort the problem out. And I think I gathered a couple of people, ran across the playground up to this bully, turned around, and I was on my own. And I was like, have a nice day, sir.
Oh, no.
So Michael Jackson is great, but just keep it musical. Like his music videos aren't a template for how to deal with real life situations.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
And there we are. I've told that story. There we go. So let's move on quickly.
Good to share, mate. It's good to reminisce.
So Jagged Edge, Good Luck Charm. Now, this is so far out my wheelhouse. I don't really listen to any sort of chilled R&B stuff outside of... I think the closest I get is like Prince songs. I'm a big Prince fan, but...
Okay, nice.
I've never heard this song before. Tell me about it. Tell me about Good Luck Charm.
Yeah, Jagged Edge. So why I would I'm a big fan. I like R&B. I like soul. I'm a big. You'll catch me in my car listening to a bit R&B or a bit soul classics after heavy day on the mind day of work, or after a training session. It's just I like I use that music to kind of help me wind down a bit.
Yeah.
I think it was God. I just know that song like word for word, and I heard it years ago, and it's just forever just been stuck in like I just really like the song. I know it word for word. Might catch me singing my heart out a little bit in the car.
Is this like a post training come down sort of song? Post train.
Yeah, man. It's nice to just wind. It's just a nice way to wind down the nervous system. I find anyway. It works for
So
me.
is there other stuff sort of similar to this that springs to mind that you might recommend to people if they're into this?
Just I don't know anyone particular. Just some good old fashioned like soul classics. Just
Spotify, it gives you daily mixes. I think because I listen to a lot of Prince, it's given me like a funk soul playlist, and it's one of my favorite playlists. I'll train to it.
Okay.
Like it's one of my favorites. Like
yeah.
there'll be some James Brown on it, some Stevie Wonder, some Aretha Franklin.
That's who I was thinking when you said funk. I was thinking James Brown surely got to be on that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
What a guy! What a guy! What a time to be alive to see him perform.
Ah, do you know what I saw? He played Glastonbury. God knows how long ago. It must have been like 20 years. Again, this is going back to 25-year-old elitist gatekeeper me. And they showed a bit of James Brown on the TV, and James Brown, he was sweaty, he was out of breath, he was running all over the place. The songs were going on for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what's this all about? This is rubbish. He's not even singing the songs right. But what I wouldn't give to see James Brown live now, like that must have been a party.
That man. That man brought some serious energy to the stage, and he just looked so in love with doing it as well. Like there was a real passion behind what you could see what he was doing. Yeah, I love watching his live videos.
There's a clip on YouTube that I stumbled across, and it is, I don't know what gig it is, but it's a live. You'll be able to find it. It's James Brown. He's on stage. He calls up Michael Jackson.
Oh.
And Michael Jackson does a little bit of singing, and then someone kind of taps him on the shoulder, and he says down the microphone, "I've just heard Prince is in the house. Prince, come up on stage." And so Prince. So you've got James Brown, Michael Jackson, and Prince all on stage.
Some people got to see that with their own eyes. Once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, it's just like a little 4 or 5 minute clip, but
yes,
three of the greats on stage at the same time. So let's move on to your final Desert Island Riffs song, and Tai Chi by Paul Herzog, which probably didn't mean much to me just from reading it, but as soon as I saw the cover art when I added it to the Spotify playlist, my heart sang, because I don't know how much you like this film, but Kickboxer is one of my favourite films of all time.
Where do you think it's come from? How do you think I know this is one of my favourite movies, man? Yeah. And it's such an awful movie, but it's so. It's such a good film, but like the quality. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
It's not very. I kind of like. You can't imagine much money went into this movie, but do you know what? That film's got to be. Yes, that film's definitely top 3.
Yeah, I think when I was going to send you a song, one of the first ones, again, like I didn't recognise this just from the artist and the title. But one of the first songs I was really tempted to send you was "Feeling So Good Today." When Jean-Claude's drunk and dancing away in the bar in Kickboxer.
Oh, and he's doing that little yeah, and he like does the splits and like punches the fly.
Yeah,
that's such a good scene, man.
I've got a lot of love for Jean-Claude Van Damme. I think because he was noticeably smaller than like Stallone and Schwarzenegger, so I don't know. Maybe I could identify a little bit more.
Yeah,
but I just liked his
Yeah.
Kicks and everything, special kicks. Like, seriously, I've seen that film so many times. Me and my friend would kind of watch it and quote along.
Oh, okay. Love a good movie reference. Yeah, that film never gets old. Again, some films will never die, and I'm glad that you think the same as well.
Oh,
That's a great
I
movie.
would say it's definitely in my top 5 movies of all time, despite the fact that, yeah, it's a bit cheesy and it's a bit predictable, and
It is really, yeah, it really is, but it works, man.
yeah, love everything about it.
But the music, the Soon Tai Chi, I find it very soothing. If I ever feel that many times I've just kind of just wanted to lay there and just feel, it's kind of my way of like meditation.
Yeah.
I'd play it in my ear, and I would just completely zone out to it. You know, be completely still, think about my breathing. I would just imagine, I could just envision myself being on a desert island. I mean, my vision, it looks pretty nice, you know, that's clear sky, stars in the sky. I've got it playing in my ears, you know, and it's just absolute bliss, mate.
I mean, I think that's what it was written for.
You know,
it's supposed to
absolutely.
conjure those sorts of thoughts and feelings. It's very. It's called Tai Chi. Like, you can pretty much anticipate what you're gonna hear.
Absolutely, it's just chill, you know. It's just so much chill to it, and that's why that made my top 5 today.
So those are your Desert Island Riff songs for your Desert Island gym. But I also asked you to send me your Giants Live. If you had the opportunity to appear at a Giants Live show, what your walkout music would be.
Oh, what was that? Did I send that to you?
To Victory from 300.
Oh, yes, 300.
Yeah.
This tune, man. This is... If I was at a Giants, like, I suppose, obviously, if you know me in the sport, like, I'm very... I don't know how I am. How I probably sound right now. It probably sounds very different. Obviously, it's very different to how I am like when I'm on a platform in Strongman. It always feels like there's like two sides to me, you know.
Yeah.
But when to see myself walk into an arena to give a show like that, absolutely everything I got. Like, if I heard that tune and I come out, like, it would like be the flick of a switch, and that Lewis would be so focused, aggressive, explosive. Like it just, I'd give it absolutely everything.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that tune would really just flick the switch for it. You know.
So is 300 another one of your favourite films?
300 is another one of my favourites. It's just a really good man movie. You know, it's a great film to. I know a few of the lads actually. I think a couple of the under 80 lads. Dean McVie is one of them. I know he's a big fan. I know he really likes this film. There's a couple of lads we'll get what you're maybe watching this once or twice for like a pre-comp psych up. You know, it's good for the soul. You know. It's good.
Well, yeah, I'm not too. I've seen the film before. Wasn't too familiar with the soundtrack, but this song it is an entrance music song. Like, it kind of, I don't know how much of a WWE fan you are, but it made me think of, like, I could see a WWE wrestler or any sort of wrestler, like,
yeah,
bowling down the ramp.
Dude, I used to get my ass handed to me as me and my cousin used to get our asses handed to us by his older brothers, man. We used to get, like, the famous one by one of my oldest cousins was the ankle lock.
Oh, yeah.
Little did we know that it wasn't actually real on TV, but it felt fucking real in his living room.
Yeah, I've found myself in the walls of Jericho a few times, just like,
oh man,
double over. Yeah, I may or may not have choke slammed my brother once or twice, just a couple of times, with love.
Oh man, of course, absolutely.
So, epic Giants Live entrance song, but there's one more song to go.
There is,
and you are the first person that I have subjected to this. And I sent you a song to listen to. And
yes.
The song is called Dance Fight 66 by Oral Noughts.
Yes.
So tell me what you thought of it. Because, like, and please...
I found this song...
Go on, go.
So instantly, you may... And so I know you said you listened to thing. Now... I personally really like the tune, okay. And I'll tell you where. Like I said, and there's always whereas I'll play a song because it suits a given environment. And where I've really found, and I tell you what I did as well also. So I find this song a really good early morning in the car on the way to work on a Monday morning.
Okay.
Really specific, like, and I had that, and I played this tune again. So I played it again this morning, and it just did something to me, man. It's just really uplifting in its own. Like, I'm not sure if you were expecting that, but I quite enjoyed listening to it.
I'm glad you enjoyed listening to it. And the reason I'm chuckling...
It gets the energy going, man. It's what you need for a Monday morning. If you don't like a Monday, if you're not keen on a Monday, people, you got to listen to this tune.
That's an endorsement. But the reason I am chuckling is because there's a bit of a wider context to this song. And I'm glad you just listened to it on Spotify and didn't look it up on YouTube. You can now look it up on YouTube, but basically...
Okay, right.
There is a series on YouTube that is done by these Oral Naughts. I don't know whether it's one person or two people. And what they've done is they've taken the first 3 Star Wars movies and they've re-edited all of them and redubbed the dialogue. And they've made it so that the Jedi are all mad party animal drug addicts who are just on the search for the next fix. And instead of lightsaber fights, they have dance fights.
Okay.
So you look up this song on YouTube, and I don't know how familiar you are with the Star Wars movies, but at the end of the 3rd one, there's a fight on a lava planet, and so they've edited the lightsaber battle to this song, but they like mess around with the footage, so they like mirror it, and they like... it's got that kind of hi-hat at the start, like...
Okay, yeah.
Like they've got Anakin Skywalker like shrugging his shoulder in time with it.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Like it is a stupid song. I don't know why this is the first one I chose to send to someone. And there's a bit...
It's just you just got to have a laugh, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a bit just before the drop where a little voice says, "It's baby time." Now that is they've made C3PO in this YouTube series not cannibalistic, but a bloodthirsty android that is on a mission for human flesh, and he's desperate to get hold of a baby. So when he's saying it's baby time, like this song, but
do you know what, mate? I'll tell you what, you've really sold this to me. I'm definitely checking this out.
But the song, like you say, the song in isolation, out of context, is pretty good as it is. So when I'm listening to it while I'm training, because I do regularly listen to it while I'm training, I am able to sort of keep that weird context out of my head and all the like weird imagery and stuff. I just sort of focus on it as it is. But yeah, like there's no underselling just how daft this song is. So yeah, look it up on YouTube. Dance Fight 66.
Yeah, I definitely will.
But I'm glad you enjoyed listening to it.
That's good. That was a good one you threw at me. Yeah, that was good.
But yeah, so we've gone through the songs. I've subjected you to one of my songs. So coming up next for you is going to be Pro Strongman League. Have you got any plans post that, or
again probably after the pro show? I've got no. Obviously, the world's strongest man rate will be between the 1st and the 3rd of December. I haven't got any eyes set on that at the minute, but after this pro show, I will be focusing very much on my deadlift because, as you're aware, I do believe that 400 kilos can be pulled raw and at an 80 kilo body weight. So I will be looking to be busting my ass in training to make that happen. I don't know when. It could take me a while. It certainly will take me a while, but that's what's on my mind at the moment.
So are you gonna continue competing while you're training for that, or is your focus solely going to be on that?
So I've had a thought. Maybe next year, maybe I may not get myself into too much. Maybe I could just get myself involved in the OSGs. But I know they say records don't matter, but I mean records are there to show who's top of the mountain, just as much as the first place title is, and this matters to me, and I would love to be the first British under 8 kilo athlete to make that happen.
Yeah, I mean we've seen 3 guys try it this year, and only one of those 3 guys actually got to 400 kilograms on the bar, and that was Dan Benson at England's, and he got it to his knees. Nobody else has managed to break the weight off the floor. So yeah, if you can, well, I say if, positive vibes. When you do it raw,
is that in terms of the lightweights? So even any under 90. So how many? So is that under 90s?
Yeah. So Dan did it as an under 90.
I saw it, yeah, because I remember Dan Benson did that at England's. I hadn't.
Yeah. Ben Donnin is the current world record holder with something like 388.
384.
Is it 384?
Oh no, 3. Sorry, that's it. Yeah.
And Rich Molnar gave it a go, but all 3 of those were as under 90s. I think even Ben was.
Yeah.
So no one's giving it a proper crack under 80. So yeah, make it happen.
Yeah, it's a long way off. I know it sounds, to anyone it might sound ridiculous. It may sound, but do you know what? The way things are going, even us lightweights, the weights we're doing in competition, the things we're seeing all these lads do, it's insane. Like the standard of the lightweights in strongman.
Yeah, I keep saying 2 years ago,
where things are going.
2 years ago, a 300 kilogram deadlift was a damn good deadlift for an under 80, and now it's fine.
It's a damn good deadlift, and now it's like, do you know, if you pull 300 kilos, okay, yeah, well, you're doing all right in strongman. It's insane. It's actually,
it's crazy,
absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, I won't be at the Chaos Classic. But are you still doing the? Are you still going to be on the mic?
Yeah,
at Chaos. You're going to be there?
I'm commentating for the live stream. Yeah,
commentator. That's the way I can think of the word.
Yeah.
You must be super excited for that, man. That's going to be a hell of a show.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be. It's nice to just be a part of it. Like, it would have been nice to be part of it as an athlete, but there's always next year. But yeah, like it's good to. Yeah, the weekend is just going to be incredible. We're going to see some amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Do you reckon we're going to see an under 80 log world record?
I believe you don't feel there will be one, and I can completely understand why, because obviously a lot of us sit heavier, and then we do a water cut, which some cuts can be quite good. There could be almost a stone of water coming out of some people's bodies. You're depleted. I'm gonna have hope, and I'm gonna say yes.
I mean, Dean's already said he wants it, and I think he posted.
And do you know what I'm gonna say? And it's nothing biased, because Dean's a friend of mine. But do you know what? I've seen Dean time and time again. Like, Dean loves a log press.
Yeah.
So, who I would absolutely love to see walk away with a world record from that log is Dean McVie. I think maybe 1 or 2 men might walk away with a joint record.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? Let's not rule out Flash. Flash is a shit hot presser, and then you got Chris Harper, who's his dog's phenomenal. He's absolutely rapid on a heavy log. If it jumps any more than 147, I'm not too sure, but I've got my money on at least one of them 3 guys taking it.
There we have it. So this is going to be released after Brits, so please bear that in mind, whatever happens at Britain's Strongest Man, if you're listening.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lewis, it's been awesome chatting to you. Really enjoyed your songs.
Same with you, man.
And hail to the king.
So there we are. That is episode number 5 of Desert Island Riffs with Lewis Blackwood. Hope you enjoyed listening to it. Lewis talked a little bit about almost being a different person when it comes to event time, and yeah, I will admit that the first time I encountered Lewis, which was at Britain's Strongest Man 2021, I was very intimidated by that man. Watching him compete, just seeing the intensity and the passion while he's competing. I didn't quite realise that was one of my first big competitions, but I didn't quite realise that, you know, people do switch it on and turn it up, specifically when it comes to kind of events. But yeah, Lewis is definitely one of the nice guys in the sport. Wish him all the best for Pro Strongman League later in the year. I'll be tuning in to watch that. You can tune in and watch that too. ADL Pro, they're broadcasting all the big strongman related shows. Yeah, so let's talk music. Let's talk music. So a couple of episodes ago, Rich Molnar picked a band called 100 Demons, and I mentioned that I would kind of label them as tough guy hardcore, right? You know, really chunky, shouty, aggressive sort of stuff. Truth be told, I mentioned in that episode that I bought that CD, but I didn't really listen to it that much, that 100 Demons CD, because it kind of got lost in the shuffle because I was buying so much tough guy hardcore around that time. But one band that sticks out in that kind of realm of real tough guy, I say tough guy, you know, just aggressive with the breakdowns and fast bits, and yeah, just like you can feel the passion in the songs. It's a UK band called Knuckle Dust, London band, one of the godfathers of the UK hardcore scene. They are without doubt one of my favourite hardcore bands of all time. They've been going for, I think they might be coming up to 30 years now, but they're still going strong, still releasing stuff. The first album I got that really turned me onto them is Universal Struggle. It's such a good album, but Time Won't Heal This, that's their first full length. That's really good to check out as well. Just like, if you're in the mood for something really aggressive, you need that catharsis, you need that release, Knuckle Dust might be the band for you. So in terms of podcasts, the next episode has already been recorded, so that will be being released in a couple of weeks' time from now, or, you know, it might already be released if you're listening to this later down the line. It's another good one, another different one. I'm really enjoying doing these, and yeah, look forward to doing many more. It's an education musical education for me as much as anyone that listens. So thank you again for listening, and I will see you very soon for the next episode of Desert Island Riffs. Thank you very much.